leading 17-9. And we're going to go off to the races through the Foxborough night. Nate, give me the Stephon Diggs hot shot. Give it to me.
Woo! Little Stephon Diggs getting busy. Check this out. Slant, catch it out the back door. And from here, he is showing off that speed. He was on fire last night.
Passes Eric Moulds for single-season Bills record. Eric Moulds. Now, how weird is this? 24-9, first and 10, third quarter. It's the first play of the second half. He's going to roll out. He's going to find Dawson Knox, who toe drags. Now, look at the sideline here. Belichick challenges it. He's standing right there as Nate. This is a pretty pedestrian toe drag swag. It was a no-doubter, but he challenged
Look
it.
where his eyes are at. His eyes weren't on the feet.
So he gets on the phone and says, why did you tell me to challenge that thing? An all-time gift, which we will get to shortly. Meantime, an all-time night for the Bills. Diggs again.
Diggs was balling.
Again.
In a weekend where we all said, you know what? Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the NFL. Diggs said, hold that thought, fam.
Maybe they'll meet Rodgers and Adams in Tampa. Who knows? A lot of work to be done. You know what? He wasn't even done. 31-9.
How about this?
Piling it on.
How about that one?
Flex on him, Buffalo. That's Diggs again. That's another. That's a hat trick. That's 3 touchdowns.
How many fantasy football leagues were won on Stephon Diggs alone last night?
Yes.
Right?
Imagine if you won against Kamara and you're like, I got Diggs and I'm going to beat you. And we're going to beat the Patriots. Guys, we had a Matt Barkley sighting. We had a Jarrett Stidham sighting. This was a no-doubter butt kicking by the Buffalo Bills. Let's get into it. 38-9. But first, the aforementioned Stephon Diggs was like, look, I don't know this old Josh Allen you said was too young, inaccurate, and erratic. I know this one, and he's a bad man.
I feel like we somewhat scratching the surface on the potential that we have. I feel like Josh is still a young quarterback, but right now he's playing some elite ball. You know, he's playing some great ball from the quarterback position. He's throwing for 300 plus. Like he's making good decisions. He's not turning the ball over. Like he's running. You know, stuff that I've seen from Josh this whole season, and I don't know the old Josh. Like I keep saying it. Like I don't know the past Josh. I just know Josh right now, and he's been playing some hell of a football. So as a receiver, you know, him being my guy as well, I just want to give it all I got for him, make the plays for him. But it's just scratching the surface on trying to be great and trying to chase greatness daily.
I don't know the old Josh. The guy's only 24. I love that. Well, the Bills take the #2 seed after last night's win. The Chiefs already have clinched the 1 seed and the bye week. And if the playoffs started tomorrow, it would be Buffalo hosting the Cleveland Browns in the wild card round. But guys, we've got a lot to sort out about that as we look toward Week 17. That was the Bills' 5th straight win, and it was dominant. I mean, we all saw that last night.
For sure.
What did you see from the Bills, and are they at the same level of the Chiefs in the AFC, Nate?
Yeah, maybe Bills fans are thinking, why aren't you asking if the Chiefs are on the same level as the Bills?
Okay.
They're playing that good. And you know what? One of the main reasons is Stephon Diggs. And here's the thing. Every great team has a go-to player. Oftentimes, that go-to player is your quarterback. It just so happens that they have a quarterback that is playing elite and a wide receiver that is. I'll be completely transparent. I've always felt like a guy who might do a few things to work himself out of a situation, to get traded. There's always an individual that could have made it work with the team that drafted him. I'm that dude. I'm that loyal guy. But over the last few years, when you look at Minkah Fitzpatrick and what has happened with his career, you look at Jamal Adams and what has recently happened with his career, you look at Stephon Diggs and what has happened with his career, this dude has 120 catches. He leads the league in receiving yards. No Bills players ever led the league in receiving yards, and he has a chance to do both. Right now, the fact that he landed in Buffalo and has worked seamlessly as not a pretty good addition, he's one of the guys that the Bills can count. No, he is their go-to wide receiver. And I don't know how long this is going to last. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's the next 5 years. But you don't have these type of heaters without us always looking at you and just saying, you know what, let me bow down for a second. Because right now, Stephon Diggs is the best receiver, along with Devontae Adams. I'm not going to pick one right here on the air. But these guys are on a completely different level. And without Diggs, we wouldn't be talking about the Bills like we are. And that's why.
No doubt about that.
Forget about them being on the same level as the Chiefs. That's why they're in the same conversation as KC.
Yeah, and I think, if you go back to that day where he was traded, it was the same day DeAndre Hopkins was traded. So I think a lot of the news was DeAndre Hopkins was traded to Arizona, and we all broke. And then on like the bottom line ticker, really small and breaking news, Ian Rappaport reports that Stephon Diggs has also been traded. Everyone's like, all right, yeah, okay, fine. Stephon Diggs is gone. Stephon Diggs has been the best wide receiver in all of football this year. And think about that story and how good and how deep and how well-rounded this roster is. It's not just Diggs, but it's also Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. They have these running backs. They've got this great offensive line. These guys play all over the line. And I look at the roster, and it's so deep, and it's so well-rounded. I'm like, the executive of the year is Brandon Beane, the GM, who had the courage to trade for Stephon Diggs. And to me, it's like, all right, you're giving up a first-round pick for Stephon Diggs. A lot of teams could have offered a first-round pick for Stephon Diggs. They didn't. Brandon Beane did it. And if you didn't see the Christmas video he did, if you're wondering who's Brandon Beane, he's fun too. He's like a normal guy. This is the video that he posted with the Bills on Christmas Day, doing the 12 days of Christmas. He's got a cocktail in his hand, and he's got the
pencil
Christmas
pusher, number cruncher.
That is not your analytics guy in the basement working. This is a guy who embodies Buffalo and loves it, and is a longtime Carolina Panther employee. Gets the gig, goes with McDermott after McDermott had already been hired. He drafted Josh Allen. He traded for Stephon Diggs. He drafted Zach Moss, and it is a collective effort there. I think they are one of the best built teams in the league, and that is why they can compete with the Kansas City Chiefs. They are so deep, top to bottom, and they have the courage to go get Stephon Diggs.
That's some image, man. Yeah. What a great look with the robe and the cousin Eddie. And I just feel like we're at history right now. 38-9, they could have put 50 on him. I mean, they could have hung 50 on him easy. And we're sitting here. Last night was December 28th, 2020, and it was the night that the Bills called off the dogs on the Patriots, that Sean McDermott took his boot off of Bill Belichick. And if I am a Buffalo Bills fan, maybe even if I'm just a fan of anybody in the AFC, breathe this in, eat it, drink it, smoke it, do whatever you have to do. This was history. Because I want you to remember, Bills fans, in the Belichick era, the Bills have lost to the Patriots by 28 points 7 times. It's been an absolute ass-kicking era, and you've been on the other end of it. In 19 years of playing the Patriots twice a year, the Bills have won 4 times, and one of them was against third-stringer Jacoby Brissett. 2007, under Dick Duran, the Bills lost the Patriots 38-7 with Trent Edwards. They got him again later that year, 56-10 with J.P. Lossman. So now you're on the other end of it. That's all over. All those names are irrelevant. It's the present. It is the future. And it is you put in your backup quarterback because you're beating the Patriots by that much in Gillette Stadium. Enjoy this thing. It is awesome, and we have an image to take away from it. If you want your GIF, your timestamp, your Hall of Fame, whatever it is, Bill Belichick on the sideline spiking a phone in the middle of the game of the worst challenge I've ever seen is your takeaway image. There it is. He's on the phone. He's like, are you the guy who told me to challenge this thing? Bam! It's unbelievably relatable. This is everybody. This is when you hear, I understand you would like to speak to a representative. Let me transfer you to someone. But before I do, I need some more information. Peter, what is this moment for you?
This is, your gate has been changed and the flight is still the same time, but it's another part of the airport terminal.
Nate, what do you got? This is when somebody calls you and they're having a completely different conversation in the background before they even say hello. Hello? No, I'm telling you, bro. Chicken Noodle Soup is the best song of the 2000s. You're like, bro, hello? Talk to me. Who are you talking to in the background?
Chicken Noodle Soup.
This is any conversation in which my wife says, when are you going to be home? Yeah. I'm like, honey, I'm on a ringer. It's poker night. I'm just making the turn on the go. I'm not going to be home ever. Kim, is there a time you get this phone call? Is it a tough assignment for you at work?
No, when my TV goes out and you really wanted to watch something, especially an NFL game, and you don't have TV and you're on the phone with those folks,
forget about
that is definitely a Belichick phone jam.
That's an amazing
I love
moment.
that. And the twitch. That was fast twitch.
I think that phone had more velocity on it than some of Cam's passes last night. That's incredible, right? We'll see. What do you think of the game, Cam?
You know what I thought, and I've said this, I believe Stephon Diggs has changed the Buffalo Bills because I think he gives them a little something that they didn't have, and credit to Brandon Beane. He went back after him a second time. He went to the Vikings at the trade deadline in 2019, and they said no. And after they settled for, I believe it was 4 field goals in that playoff loss, come from ahead playoff loss to the Texans, he went back. And he got that guy for those reasons right there on the screen when you look at those highlights from last night. And there was conviction there. He fit in right away. And it's been quarterback changing. And I would submit it's been franchise changing. And I think it's been remarkable. That as well.
And I would say around the league, he has exceeded expectations. I don't think anyone everyone knew he was good. I don't know anyone in the league, and this is nothing against Stephon, but like he's been in the league for 6 years. It's not like he was out of nowhere. Yeah. He's been amazing.
Yeah.
He's been the best receiver in football.
It's a great point, Peter. He's better, and he made people better around him. That's a big point. Yep, absolutely. Let's bring in now our own Tom Pelissero for some news from around the league. Tom, good morning, and let's get the latest on a couple of quarterbacks that are crucial to the playoff picture. What is the latest with Alex Smith and Jared Goff?
Well, Kim, the Washington football team is optimistic that Alex Smith will be able to return and start on Sunday night against the Eagles. They ramped up Smith's work in practice last week. That strained calf